Welcome to another episode of Noah Knows, the science of health and fitness. I am Groot. I am your bearded bullshit buster and swolly scientist. And today what we're going to be talking about is a $380 million fine levied against Advocare, HERBALIFE, Airborne, and GNC for their bad supplements. So Chris, are there any supplements that you enjoy taking or supplements that have been marketed to you in a way that you think you should be taking?
They're kind of underground, but there are these things that come in just a small little container. It has the child-proof lock on it. They're called Flintstone vitamins. After Flintstone vitamins, in whatever the stage of life you take those are the last supplements I've ever taken. I know that's not a supplement, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's still,
really?
I mean, it's just not in traditional, right? It's just marketed to kids to get their multivitamins in, right? It's no different than like GNC, like one a day men's vitamins, right?
Oh, okay.
It's just marketed in a different way. So it is a supplement because you're supplementing it for something in your diet.
That explains why I could skateboard for 14 hours a day then in about 14 minutes now.
It's the Flintstones, right? Yeah. Got to get the Scooby-Doo gummies with it too. But all right, so there's no supplements you actually take right now. No protein powders, none of that.
I mean, before going with you and being on the longest gym kick of my life, I've tried the protein powders and the shakes, and I don't know if this would count. I'm so oblivious to what any of this stuff is. That's why I'm here. But like the No Explode stuff, stuff like that, is that considered or no? Yeah. So stuff like I've tried all the popular stuff.
Okay.
Or what I thought was popular.
Would you ever what do you think the legitimacy is of supplements? Do you believe in the product that you're taking, or do you think that they lie to you a little bit?
Since I am so new to the world of supplements, I wouldn't even know what sounds funny. I would just expect to go to a GNC or trust a friend who got something online that they're already using. But other than that, I wouldn't even know where to begin to feel suspicious about stuff like this, honestly.
That's totally okay. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been approached by someone trying to sell you Advocare or HERBALIFE or something like that? How has that conversation gone like with you?
It's hard to figure out if they're really interested in being your friend or they're just trying to make a sale, or maybe both. The same old thing. We have an opportunity for you. We think you'd be great for this. Stuff like sales pitchy stuff. And I almost bought into a little bit of it, because this may surprise you, but I'm very impulsive. So yeah, and my girlfriend, I love her to death for more than this reason, but she said, don't do this. She's never told me not to do anything.
Don't do this.
Build a studio, try this, quit your job. She's supported me on all that, but the Advocare thing, she's like, don't do this.
Well, she guided you correctly, because most recently Advocare has been fined $150.
That's it?
Or 150. Wow. Yeah. A little slap on the wrist. $150 million. $150 million by the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, for being found guilty of functioning as a pyramid scheme. Now, is that something that surprises you at all?
No, it sounds about right. Pyramid schemes, they're very common. And they're very good because of how long they've been around at disguising themselves.
Yeah, I've had family and friends approach me with Advocare and HERBALIFE, and they say, "Oh, but it's not a pyramid scheme." When you have to lead with, but trust me, it's not a pyramid scheme, that's probably pretty telling of, what's going on there. So
if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's extremely problematic because this is something that's endorsed by pro athletes and celebrities. Most notably, we would be looking at Drew Brees of the Saints and Patrick Mahoney of the Chiefs. But I want to get into some of the finer details of this fine from the FTC and how Advocare works. So, they claim that, earn unlimited income. It's the financial freedom you've always wanted. Join this company and you'll be able to quit your job. Now, the actual statistics show that over 90% of their more than 100,000 distributors, that would be you and everybody else that buys into it, make less than $250 a year. $250 a year. I mean, like, what are you doing with that?
Well, people always walk into the store, they go, well, this is so-and-so. This is Karen. And Karen makes $111,000 a year. And she got me in, and I'm going to get you in. And eventually we're all going to be like Karen.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, and that's exactly that scheme, how that process works, is why they were fined for being a pyramid scheme. So how this works is when a distributor or you or myself would sign up, you're immediately charged $60. From there, they pressure you into buying $2,500 worth of products, because when you buy that much, then that upgrades you to be able to earn more, because you're capped if you buy less than that. And here's an actual quote from the lawsuit from the FTC. It says, legitimate businesses make money by selling products and services, but it's illegal when it depends on recruitments to pay out and involves overblown income claims. Sounds pretty accurate to me, right? Like, I make money by recruiting you, and then you make money by recruiting another person, and I don't just depend on my sales. I depend on your sales and their sales and their sales and their sales, right? And I mean, this is something that inside the fitness community we've known for a long time. Like Advocare is bunk, Herbalife is bunk, and Airborne and all these other companies. But it's not. It's worse than them just functioning as a pyramid scheme, because other lawsuits now, as well as the FTC with the FDA, they're showing that upon examining their supplements, so let's see here, Herbalife was fined $200 million for falsifying nutrition labels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Yep.
So this is why you asked earlier about how the supplements feel or taste or whatever, because they're watering them down, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so another popular company, Airborne, was fined $30 million for the same thing, as well as GNC being recently fined $2 million for selling supplements that either lied about what they had in it, so including ingredients that aren't on the nutrition label, not having the actual ingredients that are listed on the label, and then having well underneath the reported dosage of said ingredients. So
three strikes.
Yeah. So when the FDA examined GNC, Walmart, Target, and Walgreens, looking at their top selling supplements, specifically looking into herbal ones, they found only 21% actually had accurate nutrition labels, and the rest were just filled with cheap filler, including rice, beans, pine, citrus, asparagus, wheat, and household blends of common house plants and carrots. And here's the kicker on this, right? Is that products that were labeled gluten-free still had wheat in them.
Oh.
And they also found that most products still contained soy and peanuts in them. So we're three huge allergies there, where we're talking about if you have celiac disease with wheat, or if you have an allergy to soy or peanuts. I mean, this is potentially life-threatening, right? And it's surprising to me that these sound like huge fines, but they should be way bigger, because stuff like this doesn't make the news, right? Or it gets swept under the rug so fast. I mean, these are recent things, and up until me telling you about them, you didn't hear about a $200 million fine to Herbalife, the $150 million fine to Advocare, the $30 million fine to Airborne, and the $2 million fine to GNC.
I haven't heard anything about any of it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that is widely available. Search it, and you can find it on both the FDA website and the FTC website. But I mean, but hey, we're in the business of making money, so we're not going to cover this in mainstream media.
So let me ask you a question, because I can answer that. I could talk about the half of this story where if you are interested in going out on your own and making your own money and being your own boss, I could comment on that by saying it's a very opportunistic world right now where you could, if you make shoelaces, you could figure out how to make a living selling the shoelaces that you make because of the access here on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this, think about what you can do for your business. I did it. I own a plumbing business. I quit my full-time radio job, benefits $50,000 a year and everything. Went out on my own, and because of Facebook, I'm able to generate a customer base to be able to live and do a lot of things that I couldn't do working for somebody. So I would say if you want to do something like that, don't go on the avenue of paying to being a part of something. Just start doing it until you could do it well enough to quit your job. But on the end of finding good supplements and things that are reputable and that are accurate in the nutrition label, what would you recommend if I wanted to do something like that?
I would seek out Examine.com. Examine.com is an objective, science-based, evidence-based website that's third-party, where they do all things supplement and diet, and they comb over hundreds, if not thousands, of studies on everything that goes out, and they tell you, they rank it like weak, poor, better, best, optimal, whatever the range is that they use, and they tell you exactly why this stuff is garbage or why this stuff is good, right? If it's worth your money. Examine.com. When we look at the actual list of like scientifically deemed effective supplements, you're gonna have something you can count on one hand, right? It literally, I mean, like protein, right? Creatine, some vitamins and fish oils and stuff like that. There's a very, and there are others, but it's a very short list of supplements that actually are approved to take and are effective. However, that being said, unless you're deficient in something, there's no supplement that's absolutely necessary to take. You can get everything you need from a well-rounded diet. But I mean, like, what does this say about how misled the public is by the people that they admire most, right? I mean, we're talking about Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes, right? These are two people that are household names that push this. Is this negligence on their part, where they're say like, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars, and they don't even think about it, like, sure, money in my pocket, I'm going to do it? Or do you think that they actually know that this stuff is bad and they just do it anyways because of the paycheck?
It's hard to tell, because I was in the world of the very, very lowest bottom of the barrel world of endorsements. I've had endorsements I had LASIK eye surgery done here in Rochester from Robbins Eye. I had an endorsement with Advantage Federal Credit Union, which is just a bank or a financial institution is what actually it is, and stuff like that. So I know that when I was approached for free LASIK or whatever the trade was, or discount or whatever, I still had to do the research. And again, it's the very low level of this world. I'd imagine they have agents and teams and stuff around them, but it's hard probably to say no to whatever they were paid, hundreds of millions of dollars, potentially. So, and again, it's one of those things where, does anybody say this is bad? Not necessarily. Many people say this is good, the FDA and stuff like that, but nobody's saying it's bad. So maybe there's a potential that it could be good, these products. So I don't know. I think they make enough money with their salaries to risk it on going on something that they know might be sketchy. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they were ignorant about the actual credibility of these things.
Yeah, it's and again, it shouldn't directly fall to the people that endorse it. Yes, they should be a little more minded about the products that they're selling and have a little more ethics in what they're doing. However, that being said, I think the ball really falls to the FDA, right? The FDA and the FTC find these companies, yet they really, outside of that, don't do anything to stop them. Because if you notice on every single supplement that you take, any supplement can put anything they want on their labels is because the supplement market isn't actually regulated by the FDA. There are no laws, standards, or practices in place that say you need to meet a certain level of standard to produce something. Any company can put whatever they want on their labels and just put it out there without any sort of vetting process or peer review process or any sort of testing. Literally, I literally could go and get insurance to make supplements and start making my own blend and start selling it because it's not regulated by the FDA in any way. So anything you have at home, flip it over somewhere on that label. It's going to say not approved, endorsed by, or tested by the FDA.
Well, that's scary. It's kind of like not to go down another rabbit hole here, but it's kind of like the vape issue that was here in New York State, I should say, really across the country. But people are just making it whatever they want because it's not regulated.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd think the things that people put in their body would be regulated first. I mean, there's regulations on a ton of things that probably have less potential of being hazardous or dangerous than what people consume. A little backwards.
Yeah, I totally agree. So guys, let us know, what supplements do you like? What supplements do you take? Are there any products you'd actually like us to review on that show? And what are your thoughts on Advocare, Herbalife, Airborne, and GNC being fined almost $400 million for their shitty practices and even shittier products? All right, guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. I love you for spending some time with me, and we'll see you on the next one.